Okay, in this video, I'm going to go through problem 8 in the chapter 4 section of the midterm review. Now, even though it says right here, let me see if I can get my little thing. It says right here that all you have to do is identify, that should say if, and I'll fix that, if the following triangles can be proven congruent by side, 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 side angle, side, HL, ASA, or AAS. So I'm going to do that. But I'm also going to identify a congruency statement and talk about that because that's something that we need practice on. Okay, so with that in mind, I look at the first problem. So this is A. So A, I can see that I have a side here, which is congruent to a side here because of the markings, which is congruent to this side here. So this is going to be side, side, side congruency. Okay. I'm going to get rid of those letters just so I don't confuse things, but you saw where that came from. Now I'm going to put letters in the vertices. This is A, B, C, for example, and we'll call this D, P, T. Okay, so let's build a congruency statement. So what I'm going to say is, looking at this congruency, I'm going to name the first triangle ABC. ABC. Okay, that's congruent. Now you've got to be really careful how you name this one. So look what I did. I went down the 2 and then down the 3. So I went 2, 3. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other triangle. I'm going to go down the 2 and then down the 3. So I'm going to call it DPT. DPT. Okay, that's your congruency statement. Okay, let's look at the next one. So looking at the next one, what do I see for B? I see I have a reflexive piece right here. So I, once again, because only the sides are marked, and I marked the reflexive one that they had in common, that's also going to be side, side, side congruency. Now I'm going to do the same thing I just did, and I'm going to label the vertices. So let's call this P, T. Notice there's one letter T here. Don't put two letters there. P, T, D, F. Okay, so I'm going to name the first triangle to the left, and I'm going to call that triangle T. Okay, I apologize. That flipped off for some reason. So as I was saying, we're going to be able to do side, side, side. So let's go ahead and name the first triangle. So I'm going to call it TPF. This is triangle T. Oops, sorry. Let me go back into my pens. TPF. And that's going to be congruent to triangle. Let's figure it out. If I did TPF, I went down the 3. I did this first, and then down the 2. So this was 3, 2. I've got to do the same thing. Down the 3 and down the 2 is going to make the other triangle TDF. TDF. Okay? All right, let me get rid of this other little triangle there. All right, let's look at the next one. So what do you think about this one? Looking at this, I see I could have angle, side, angle. So I have the side sandwiched between these two angles. Could I do the same thing here? Yep, here's a single, here's the sandwiched side, and here's the double. So yes, I have congruency between these two triangles, and what kind is it? It is angle, side, angle congruency. Okay, next thing. I'm going to erase these letters because this would just confuse things, and I'm going to label the vertices. So here comes my vertice labeling. I'm going to call this P, Q, R, S, T, V. Okay, look at the first triangle. I'm going to call that triangle P, let me go back, hold on, P, R, Q. Okay, so I went this way from the double angle through the marked side to the single, and then up to the unmarked angle. Okay, that's how I did my path. So I'm going to do the same thing. From the double angle, what's the double angle? Here, it is V to the marked side, and then to the T is a single marking, and then down to the unmarked angle. That's my congruency statement. Those sides and angles match up. Okay, one more. Here's another one. Mark this side, and what will you get for D? You have an angle, which is a single. You have a side and an angle with a double marking. And you have the same scenario here. So you have angle, side, angle congruency. Okay, let me erase these angles. I'm going to keep this side marked because there's nothing confusing about that. And now I'm going to name label the vertices with angles. So there'll be letters, okay, capital letters. So let's call this A, B, how about Z, Q. Notice I have only one angle identified at every vertice. Okay, that's important. Don't put two letters there. Put one at every point, every vertice. Okay, so let's do the triangle on the left. I'm going to name that triangle B, Q, A. Okay, what's my pattern? Double angle here. So double, single, unnamed. So go double for the other triangle. Double, single, unnamed. Okay, so that's very good. I'm happy with that. Continuing on to E, what do I see there? Remember I say you always have to mark your vertical angles. Don't make it equal the other single hash mark. So you've got to do a double because all you know is that those two angles are equal, but perhaps they're not equal to these angles out here. Okay, you can't force that. Okay, so let's look at that. What do I have? Well, I have angle, side, angle. Again, I have that sandwich side. And I have another single, double mark, another angle, another sandwich. So I have angle, side, angle congruency. Let's go ahead and we're going to follow this pattern. I'm going to unmark those letters, and I'm going to now label the vertices. So that means I'm going to call this, how about DEF, DE. Okay, look, this F covers the entire point here. Don't put two letters there. Do not put one out here. It would be not appropriate. Okay, so I have DEF, and let's make this GH. Okay, so given that, let's name the first triangle. So I'm going to call it, I'm going to start with the single, go to the double angle, and then go to the unmarked. Okay, so next triangle. Start with the single, which matches the E, that's the H. Go to the double, which is the vertical angle, that's the F, and then go to the unmarked. And that is correctly done. Okay, here's another one. I have this piece here is reflexive. I'm going to mark it. Now I'm going to see what kind of congruency I have. I have, whoops, excuse me. I have a side, I have an angle, and I have a side that's double. On the other triangle, I have a side, an angle, and a side that's double. Okay, so that's going to be side, angle, side congruency. Notice you have to have that angle sandwiched between the two identified sides. Let's erase those letters. And now let's label the vertices because I'm going to make a congruency statement. Okay, so let's call this, I don't know, A, B, T, F. Okay, notice I only have one letter here and one letter here. Don't put two there. Here's my congruency statement. Draw your little triangle. I'm going to go down the double and then down the single. Okay, that's my pattern. My pattern is double, single, because I have mainly sides. So that's why I'm dealing with sides. So I have ABT is congruent to triangle. Go down the double. So that's FB and then down the single. FBT. Triangle FBT. I went double to single. Okay? So I know my congruency statement is correct. Okay, we have two more to do. Let's look down here. I have to label the vertical angles again. So what do I have? I have an angle, and a side. Can I do the same thing here? Look what I have. I have an angle. Ooh, that's a single. That's a double. And that's a side. So it's angle, angle, side congruency. Angle, angle, side congruency. Okay, eliminate these letters. Now label the vertices. So that's going to be, I don't know, P, Q, R, S, T. So I'm going to go and do my congruency statement. I'm going to go down, I'm going to go from the single to the double and then down to the unnamed. So from the single to the double to the unnamed angle. Because here I have a lot of angles to deal with. Do the same thing. From the single to the double and then to the unnamed. That's your congruency statement. Okay, look what we have here. I see my right angle here. Vertical angles give me a right angle here. It's a candidate for HL, but maybe it's not going to be HL. Let's check it out. Okay, directly across from the right angle is a triple. Those are the hypotenuses. They match. Then we have a leg and a leg. So yes, we can now say that this is indeed HL congruency. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of my marks on the outside so as not to confuse things. And let's go ahead and label the vertices. So I'm going to make this A, Q, U, Z, X. Okay, so triangle on the top. Let's go down the triple and then down the double. So that's going to be Q, A, U. I went down the triple and then down the double. That's congruent to, okay, I'm going to go down the triple and then down the double. So Z, X, U. Triangle Z, X, U. And that ends that review. Okay, and as I said, this should be if, I'm going to change that in my hard copy. I have also, so I should say the video has congruency statements. And I'm going to put this video right in here. Okay, so I'm going to change that wording in here and repost it.
I can't tell which speak.
Okay, so we're done. So I hope you found that helpful. I'm going to post it now.